Hello, I'm Dr. Mikey Mewborn, and this is Leadership Development. Today we're looking at the topic, Generate Small Wins. Now, when we're thinking about ministry or a corporation, a nonprofit, or any type of business, it's important for us to get small wins. It helps develop leadership credibility. It also helps give us confidence. It helps us to understand what else is out there. And once we get some wins under our belt, we feel stronger about moving forward with bigger risks or taking more risks. And so it's important for everyone to generate those small wins so that we can accomplish more. I realized when I first became a pastor of a church that it was those small wins at first that helped me to do bigger things in the future. When I saw, or when the church saw us seeing some wins in a very small scale, maybe it's in a Sunday school class, or maybe it's with one specific ministry, then we incorporated those types of wins or that type of push into the church as a whole, and then we saw the church flourish. Now, if I would have just gone to the whole church and said, let's change everything, it wouldn't have gone very well for us. But after seeing some wins, we were able to come together and to try bigger things and go after bigger things. That's the same. That's the same for corporations in general. So this topic's good for us just in our personal lives, but also in the corporate world as well. It's good to be with you. Let's begin our study. Hello and welcome to Leadership Development. Today we're looking at the topic, Generate Small Wins. It's good to be with you today. Let's begin our study. I want to start by talking about set up little experiments. Companies usually offer new consumer products in select locations instead of offering it in all markets. And a lot of times this is called test trials. So you test a product out, a consumer product in a new area, and just see how it does. And then based on that, you can open it up to all markets. And that's the way a lot of times corporations will look into launching a new product. And so when you think about test trials, they should consider a few things. Number one, location. Is this a great location for testing out a product? So when we're thinking about launching something new, is this a great area? It works the same way sometimes in ministry. For a while now, the North American Mission Board has been focusing on certain types of cities to send church planters into, because those cities are full of people and there's a strong community there to reach out to people, or opportunity for them to reach people in those communities. And so they will give more money to church planters that are going into those areas, and so they'll find the right locations, and then they will help them and enable them to do what they need to do there. Well, it's very similar when you're thinking about consumer products, going forth into a certain city or certain location where that product is really needed, or maybe used on, or would be used on a daily basis, and try it out there. Also, time limit. So a lot of times when you're looking at a test trial, you'll say, okay, we're going to do it for a certain time. You're going to do it maybe for a couple of months. Maybe it's for 6 months. It's going to be a length of time that you will find out, is it worth it to put this product on the market for everybody? And so a time limit is a good thing to have, because you can test that. You can look back on it. Did it work? Should we move forward, or should we pull back? Recreate this, or maybe remarket it and then start again, maybe with another city. So you can look at location and time limit. And then timing. Is it a seasonal product? This is always important too. What's the right timing to put something out? If you're thinking about gym equipment, it might be really important to put gym equipment out in December, or maybe in January, as people have New Year's resolutions. You might be thinking about something that's big gift items, and you might be looking at Christmas time for something like that or a sale on that. Something as simple as a mini fridge would be important for people moving into a dorm room, college students moving in, so they might go on sale in the month of August or the month of July. People are getting ready for moving into the dorm. So these are some things that you can think about. What's the timing on the product that you're trying to sell? And so you want to look at those things as well. Test trials help eliminate the risk of losing thousands or even millions of dollars and countless customers. So if you do these test trials the right way, you're going to risk some loss, or you might see some wins, but you could risk some loss, but that'd be a lot better than putting all your effort and all your money into something big and then it has a huge failure that's wrapped up with that. And so we want to look at those test trials as being a helpful thing. So set up little experiments. That's always a good way to look at this. Now, also with the idea of generating small wins, I want to refer back to Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey gives some wonderful insight in what he calls the 7 baby steps. And this is how to build wealth in your life, and talking about how to get control of your finances. And I just want to run through the baby steps, and I want to show you something with these. Number 1, save $1,000 for emergencies. Number 2, pay off debt except mortgage. So you want to pay off debt in that one. And then number 3, save a 3 to 6 month of expenses. Number 4, invest 15% of income for retirement. Number 5, save for children's college fund. Number 6, pay off your mortgage early. And then number 7, build wealth and give. All of these steps are really important, as Dave Ramsey puts it, to generate wealth. But the only way that you can generate wealth is if you generate small wins. And that's what he talks about in the baby steps, especially looking at number 1, number 2, number 3, and what does that look like. And so I want us to focus on number 2 for a second. Pay off debt. And so after you've put $1,000 away for an emergency, then the next thing is that you pay off the debt. Now, he comes up with a great method of doing this that he calls the snowball, the debt snowball. And so he's not focusing on the mortgage at this time, because mortgages or houses seem to increase in value over time, so that's keeping up with your money as you're paying it off. But other things like credit card debt, car debt, student loan debt, he's talking about those things. Pay those off as quickly as you can. And here's the method that he has for this. The debt snowball. Step 1, list your debts from smallest to largest regardless of interest rate. Step number 2, make minimum payments on all your debts except the smallest. Number 3, pay as much as possible on your smallest debt. Number 4, repeat until each debt is paid in full. Now, in these 4 easy steps, he's saying there, you start small. You list the debts out, and then what you do is you pay off your smallest debts first, regardless of interest rates. Don't even think about that, but pay off the smallest ones first, and then you go to the next one, and then you go to the next one, and you keep paying it off. Now, the reason he's saying this is because you pay off the smallest debt first to generate some wins, and that generates confidence. So you're getting emotionally involved in paying off debt, you're seeing some wins, and that boosts your confidence so you can go and tackle the bigger ones. And that's what he's saying there is step 2. So this builds a lot of excitement in the life of a person who has a lot of debt, because it boosts their confidence in a way of saying, I can take control of my money. I think this is a wonderful thing to look at when you're thinking about generating small wins. Now, great TED Talk that was given by Miss BASSIRI, I believe is how you say her name, and she said this in her TED Talk. The internet has inflated people's expectations about what success looks like. Any achievement that doesn't go viral can seem skimpy. By changing our perspective and appreciating human size, human scale achievements, we can move towards our goals. She's making a great point there, and in this TED Talk, she brings up a great point. When you go on the internet and you look at social media, everybody has all these major wins. They went from having nothing to full of wealth, having all the cars they want, the house they want. It's like the rags to riches type of mentality. It's this Cinderella story, and that's how everybody's writing stories, and they try to sell books on it and all that kind of thing. And she said, when you see all these stories that speak of huge successes, it makes your small wins feel skimpy or insufficient. And so she's making a point there. Don't get lost in all the stories. Don't get caught up in all of that. Instead, focus in on the daily small wins. Generate those and watch that grow. It'll grow consistently, and it'll be what you want it to be. Kind of here's some more quotes from her talk. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. She also goes on, small wins have a transformational power. Once a small win has been accomplished, forces are set in motion to favor another small win and another small win until the combination of these small wins lead to larger and greater accomplishments. She talks about this mindset. She talks about these small wins and having that confidence to keep going and accomplishing a lot. She talks about it in such a way that's encouragement to keep going with what you're doing, and not get caught up in all the narratives that are out there that can quickly make you feel insecure. Like this quote, the key to success is realizing that our big goals aren't going to happen overnight. And don't have a known author there, but this is a great quote because this is a key to success in many ways. We need to think about goals as being more of something that's long range or takes time to get to. And so we need to be willing to put in the work now, because we can't just generate the huge wins overnight. There has to be a succession. There has to be a constant and a continual gradual move of getting these small wins to work up to the big ones. And that's what we're looking at there. Now, the TED Talk is mainly about this idea, how to make your small wins work for you. And this is what she walks through. Find a better scale. It's time to adopt a human-sized scale to assess our efforts. Don't make your scale or the measurement that you have for your success through the roof. That's not going to get you anywhere. It's like solving the world's problems. And we looked at it in our last lesson, homelessness or the healthcare problem. You don't solve that overnight, but you can get small wins that can lead into and make an impact in the world of homelessness or healthcare crisis or whatever it is. We can look into those types of things and really work at it, but we've got to generate some small wins in order to do that. Take note. Also, we could say there, take notes, keep records, keep a record of your wins, regardless how small or large they are. So it'd be important to write down what the goals are or what the task that you want to accomplish. Write that down, and write it down in such a way that you're leaving it open to see, am I going to win or am I going to lose this? And then talk about in detail what happened. Did you win or was it a loss? Evaluate that, look at it, take note of those things, keep records of those things, because that will help you for the future and what you want to do going forward. And having notes like that is going to help you if you want to try to get other people involved in what you're doing, because you already have a track record. So now a detailed track record is going to be helpful going forward if you want to change things, if you want to try to go for a bigger win. That's going to be helpful in that. Then also Be careful in this idea of temptation to shout your wins from the virtual rooftops. In other words, don't do it whatsoever. It will get you nowhere. Let others celebrate your wins for you and with you. Be careful to talk about yourselves. When you see a small win take place in your life, don't run to social media and tout about that. Don't go and celebrate that for yourself. Don't go and toot your own horn. Don't go out there and let everybody know, look what I did or look what I accomplished. Be very careful about that when trying to create wins. Instead, let other people celebrate for you and with you. Now, when we're talking about the idea of generating small wins, it does something for us that is extremely helpful moving forward. It creates momentum. So generate small wins and create momentum. So you might have some questions that you'd like to ask when thinking about what that'll look like. Is what I'm doing truly achievable? So these small wins, are they achievable? Can I really get them? Is it something that I can go out and accomplish and really win big on that? Number 2, is it outwardly visible? Will people recognize that it's a win, or will it just be a win to me? And that's okay, especially if it's a personal gain, right? But if we're thinking about a corporation, you want to generate some small wins that other people can recognize as being small wins as well. Because when they see that you're winning, then they want to be a part of that. Is it easy to measure or scale? This is the idea that we can see that it's measurable. It's something that we can put it up to something else, or we can put it out there and say, okay, well, if we change this a little bit, it will impact this area. If we change this market, or if we change this timing, we can see that it will have a greater impact. So make it easy to measure. Number 4 here is it easy to communicate? Is it easy to communicate? Is it something that you can get out and talk about very quickly? Can you sell it in less than 30 seconds? Is it something that you can talk about, hey, look what we just accomplished, and you can do that in under 30 seconds? Well, if you can, then it can be communicated easily. But also, you can take that time to explain why it's such a benefit or why it's such a win. And then, is it symbolically important to our business or ministry? So, does it have an effect on us? We've talked in the past about creating symbols or logos that are easily recognizable with a corporation or even church. And we would say, is that symbol, is the win symbolic for what you're trying to accomplish? Is it helping the business or ministry to be all that it's supposed to be? Is it telling the story of the win? And I think that that's helpful for us, because those little wins should be symbolic of something even bigger, because people should be able to recognize we're a winning corporation, and I can prove it to you because this is what's happened, this is what's happened, this is what's happened, and here are these small wins that are meaningful to not just one person, but it's meaningful to the entire team and the entire company or corporation. All right. Well, this has been the topic, Generate Small Wins. So good to be with you today. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right, that concludes our study for today. It's always good for us to talk about getting better in a certain area, isn't it? If we think about writing better, or playing an instrument a little bit better, or singing better, maybe it's interviewing better, or doing public speaking and communicating more effectively, whatever it might be. I'll tell you, one of the ways that I've tried to stretch my abilities is in renovating our house. We live in a house that we always like to work on, but what I've done is I've tried to learn how to do new things. And what that's done is helped me generate small wins so that we could do bigger projects. Maybe it was simple as painting the house, or simple as painting a room. And so you work on that room and you get good at painting. Well, then you go into maybe a bigger space, maybe into the living area or the kitchen. And maybe then you go into something that's a little bit more difficult, such as doing drywall or changing something as simple as baseboards or crown molding, but learning how to do those. Once you get those small wins, you can start doing other things. My wife and I got stronger and stronger in the area of renovating, that we actually renovated our entire house. And so it's amazing when you think about that, because if we just said we're going to renovate the whole house when we started, we probably wouldn't have ever done it, and it would have been done in a wrong fashion. But since we learned along the way, we got better and better, and we were able to do a complete renovation. Now, that's how you can treat everything in life. Start small, get some wins, and then go for bigger things. It's an amazing way to accomplish great things in this life. Anyways, good to be with you today. God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.